But honestly, that's why, even now today, that's why I have like muscles in my arms and stuff. When you work out, if you work out to a certain extent, even though the muscles will degrade over time, they're never going to fully go away. And that's why even to this day, I still have some, muscles and everything in my upper body versus some people have nothing. They got those noodle arms, right? Well, I don't have noodle arms.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort,
Hogan, drip,
snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
Let's get started. BB Phil did a super chat this morning. Says, any news on a possible new variety necklace goal? Right now, I'm not too keen on wearing jewelry or necklaces. No, I'm not really caring about that so much. Someone made a suggestion. Oh, okay. Someone made a suggestion the other day. You ready for this? 'Cause I forgot about this. I was playing Alone in the Dark, and the main character wears a fedora, and I have a red fedora, and we ended up wearing it on that stream. But he also has like a tie, like he dresses nicely. And someone said, do you have any ties in your house? And I was like, well, I don't dress up in shirt and tie. And they're like, well, do you have them? And I looked, and guess what? Lo and behold, I do have 2 ties, all right, from years and years ago. I think I bought these ties for my wedding.
The old background felt too open, trying to make small improvements as I can, but to the video. Why was I surprised to learn that Phil only has 2 ties? This should have been a no-brainer, but even I sometimes forget how weird and off Phil is from normalcy. Now, granted, I had a position which required a suit and tie on a very frequent basis, so maybe I'm an outlier as well, but I'm willing to bet you could go find the most blue-collar of blue-collar workers, and they'd have a black and gray suit, a few dress shirts, and 5 to 10 ties, because that's a staple of any adult wardrobe. Now, let's be clear here. I'm not saying that a guy or a gal or whatever, I honestly don't care, but I'm not saying if you don't have a suit, you've failed. I'm saying that Phil is about to be 42 and has been married to Kat for what, almost 5 years? In 5 years, Phil hasn't had an event, be it happy or sad, that required a suit? Like, he and Kat couldn't have gone out to the Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Seattle, yes, I looked it up, as a special treat? Yeah, that meal is going to be a bill or even 2, but goddamn. I mean, how have you not needed a suit since you've been 36? Fucking how?
Because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to wear. So I think I bought both. And then I just chose that day which one I was going to wear. And I couldn't even answer for you which one I wore. I have no idea. So I do have 2 ties. And someone said to me, Phil, do you remember how to tie a tie? Let's see. Do I remember how to tie a tie?
So what we're about to see is Phil fumble his way through a tie, so I'm going to speed this part up.
Well, this might be very sloppy because I haven't done this in ages, okay? I think it goes somewhat like this, if I remember. You gotta hold it like tight here, and you go around. Well, it's catching on my shirt. Go around like this. Yep, you hold it, right? And then you just have it go up and over and through. Like this.
So I've looked at the way he's tied this a few times. I believe this is an oriental knot, which is probably the easiest knot to tie, so congrats, I guess, to him. I prefer a half Windsor. I think it looks far more professional, or a full Windsor, but this is DSP we're talking about. I suppose we should give him, some kudos for actually remembering something.
So I did it, but it's horrible. I did tie it, but it's incredibly sloppy. But I did tie it from memory. Look at that. I haven't done that in a long time. So there you go. I actually remembered how to do it. It's really bad. It's not even or anything. What I would do is you adjust it. You make it more even, right? But that's what it is. It's muscle memory. I did it so much when I was in high school. It was a private high school, and you either had to wear a shirt and tie or a polo shirt. So I would alternate. And then I had an office job for a while. I had an office job where you had to wear a shirt and tie or something else. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. I can tie a tie. It's just from memory. It's sloppy. It doesn't look great. You can adjust it after the fact. Pull the shirt out,
I'll get back to my cartoon Jim soon, I promise, but I had to call attention to this. Step back a few seconds if you want to him saying, I can tie a tie. The mannerism and tone is one both of incredulity that people thought he couldn't tie a tie, and surprise that he did it live. Although, truth be told, I 100% believe he practiced before the stream. But the reason I froze it here is because there's basically one way a short sleeve shirt and tie look good, and yes, this is solely my opinion, but that is to have your arms be damn near ripping the seams of the shirt. So this frame I have frozen perfectly encapsulated all that is DSP, because as horrible as this looks, he's proud of the fact he tied this. He thinks this skill puts him above other people, despite this being a lesson most fathers teach their son for their graduation into middle school. Also, he straight up looks like a dork dork that's trying too hard. So, yeah, I don't know. I had to comment here. Keep going, DSP. Tell us how you're going to whore out your tie.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, I can tie a tie, and we have them. Now, it's silly because people are like, well, you have a tie goal on your stream. By the way, just unties just like that. All you gotta do is pull it. Will you have a tie goal on your stream? Probably not, unless people really, really wanted it, right? I don't know why people would care so much about a tie goal on the stream. If we're gonna do a tie goal, then it would replace the vest, basically, right? We do gunner glasses, hat, tie. I guess if we hit $200, then we would add the vest or something like that. Do you really think that when I'm playing Alone in the Dark, that we're gonna be hitting $200 in tips? I don't. We didn't do that ever in like months and months. I don't think we're hitting that, you know. But I think, you know, it's just something silly to show you that I have it. Yes, I can still tie it. Good tie, too, Nautica. It's a Nautica tie. And, you know, from a bygone era of my life where I used to wear this kind of stuff all the time for work, right? There you have it.
No, that's not why you brought it out. Refresh your memory as to how you transitioned to this story. Someone asked about a jewelry goal, and you said you wouldn't want to wear jewelry, and blammo, out came the ties. But now, unless you guys really want it, you say that this has nothing to do with a goal. And don't think that subtle chastising / hint moment slipped by me. Asking your audience, you think we're gonna hit $200 for Alone in the Dark? I don't. It's not something you should have even thought to have escape your lips. If people are asking for the goal, make the goal and see what happens. Just shut up about not reaching your goals, and you know, you'd likely find that people could tolerate you more.
Okay, BB Phil did another super chat and said, do we donate for shots? Do you drink if you die in a video game, like in a drinking game? How will it work? Or do you just drink if you feel like it? Or the whole idea of donating for shots, like I did that for a year, and I thought it was all right, and then basically the gimmick died out, and people were like, this is stupid, so I stopped doing it. You know, the whole idea is I do want to have like a buzz during my birthday, so I think I'm just going to drink over the course of the day. Maybe we could figure something out that if I have hard liquors, I don't know what I'm going to have yet, that we maybe have like hard liquor or whatever, and someone does a big contribution, then I'll commit to taking a shot or something like that, but it won't be like a goal or anything. It'll just be something that we do, right? But I don't want the whole day to just be about, gee, will people contribute and get Phil sloshed? Like, that's not the point of the birthday marathon, okay?
I know I've been slacking on these videos hard, so this was actually the first time I heard Phil bring up a birthday begathon. And does he expect anyone to believe that he's not doing this for how much people contribute? Like, this is the equivalent of a crackhead swearing that this time, the $20 is going to go towards a new outfit for a job. It's definitely not going to get them a fix of crack. They've changed. Even though they've taken the $20 and bought crack 100 times before, this time it's different. So that's how things started on this stream. Then they progressed, and Snort Hogan made another clip. So let's watch.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort,
Hogan.
drip, snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. After this, we'll save up and we'll continue here in the Hidden Village next time on Wednesday. And we'll see if on Wednesday, if, I don't know, if anything can pick up, whether it be attendance, engagement, or support, I don't know. But it seems like no matter what RPG I play these days, whether I'm enjoying it or not, the RPG craze is over. There's just too many of them. And I think, just compare the day stream today of Alone in the Dark and how well that did, compared to, you know, the night stream is like dead. Like, what the heck?
A key line here, quote, no matter what RPG I play these days, whether I'm enjoying it or not, the RPG craze is over, end quote. I feel like I'm having to say this every video, but Phil, it doesn't matter if you enjoy what you're doing. You take the old saying of, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, but forget a key component of that, which is you have to be able to make enough money doing what you love to pursue that as a career. Phil wants to eat the carrot before pulling the cart, and that's just not how this works. The way you get to do this as a job and have your own choice or selection of what you play is to have enough in the bank that a, quote, slow stream, end quote, won't matter. And you don't get that way by only doing shit that you like. You're gonna have to do things you don't like doing, Phil. It's called being an adult. And why does he sound so disheartened that RPGs aren't working? Am I in a different universe? Didn't Phil very recently say that RPG overload was killing his channel? That all these companies were morons for releasing RPG after RPG? Wasn't the point of speedrunning Beggar's Gate 3 and Just Like Me For Real, A Dragon was to get out of playing RPGs? And then he goes right back to an RPG?
That's what it is. People are just tired of RPGs. You know, I've been playing too many, and there are too many. Too many games are RPGs that are coming out. Alright, so let's save. And we will play this again Wednesday night. And what I'll do is we'll continue here. We'll check out this whole nameless town and see if there's any quests there. Obviously, we have one quest there. But we gotta keep searching, I guess. And trying to figure out what else is here. It seems like this town has a mystery enshrouding it that people don't want to talk about it when we arrive, right? So, alright, well, guys, for those of you who were here, I want to say thank you for chilling and hanging out with me for Dragon's Dogma 2. For the few that did contribute, thank you. Thanks for the money, dummies, because that's exactly what you fucking are. A bunch of fucking empty-headed idiots who paid me money to get absolutely nothing out of it. Thanks. We'll try it again on Wednesday night, and we'll see what happens. All right? I'm going to be honest. I would like more people to show up, engage, and support with my streams. Not that I play the game, and there's like 4 people who talk at me all night, which is what happened, basically. The same 4 people kept talking. And, you know, it sucks because I think what's happened is, if this were not a situation where we were basically having so many RPGs back to back, you know, since December, I was constantly playing RPGs. I just finished 2, and I started playing this one. It's like another RPG. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem. Like, it's like night and day. Earlier today, when I played a survival horror game, people loved it. They were excited, they were engaged, they were supportive, everything.
Again, he's going full goddamn Rick James Burnell on us. When he closed up Like a Dragon in Baldur's Gate, he was saying RPGs are the problem. And when he offered up 2 new games, they were both RPGs. Someone, please, make it make sense.
Tonight, it's like people are falling asleep, and that pisses me off. Because, you know, I like the game, but I think it's the industry screwed itself over right now. I really do. I think that the industry essentially put out too many of these RPGs at once. And that's a problem. You need variety, and there just hasn't been a lot, and the games that are trying variety aren't good. That's the problem. There's been a lot of crappy games, so...
How can one be pissed off as a consumer that there is product to consume, be that a slew of RPGs or fighting games or Call of Duty knockoffs? Like, how much ego do you have to have? How firmly do you have to believe that you are the main character and life is all about you to think, these developers released games which are not conducive to my business making money, and that pisses me off. Phil, I have a piece of breaking news for you. Life is not about you. I suppose, of course, that he could be pissed about the low support, which is even worse because that's a statement of, I'm upset you didn't pay me more. Not a critique of, I'm pissed I didn't entertain you. No, no, no. He's entertaining. He's done nothing wrong and done everything correct. It's everyone else's fault, not Phil's.
We'll see what happens. I'll definitely play it again Wednesday night. I mean, I bought it, and I want to see if we can get an audience for it. I don't know. But it is disappointing that we're not getting much of an audience for the game. It really is. But anyway, thank you for those who were here. You were a good audience. I do appreciate that. And I hope that you will return, and we'll see what happens on the next stream. I'm interested to see what we find in this nameless village. Okay? All right, everyone. See you next time. Okay. Yeah, guys, I don't know, because here's the thing. If the streams are going to continue like this, then obviously, you know, I got to do something else. I can't do a stream where I make $5.
Oh look, we're back to the lesson of be open about your finances and maybe more people would support you. He can't do a stream which makes $5. Why? What do you need to buy? What can't you afford? Where has your YouTube money gone? Or your tips for March? Well, apparently, we don't need to know all that information. All we need to know is that $5 isn't enough, and therefore, it's your fault he can't pay his bills. Shame on you, viewers. Shame. Seriously, though, imagine being Phil, listening back to this bit and thinking, yeah, that's correct, there's nothing wrong with that statement. I swear, even pretending to think like that scrambles my brain. Ego aside, the amount of entitlement, enunciated T's, just to make you cringe, he has is also staggering. I touched on this earlier, but he honestly thinks, I'm having fun playing this game. Where is my money? I'm having fun! Which is a truly special level of twisted thinking. I really hope the end of his YouTube career is nigh. He needs to be stopped.
You know what I'm saying? That's not the point. And the thing is, if we can get enough of other good streams in the rotation, that's fine. Like tomorrow we got Elden Ring. Tomorrow we're going to try the Battlefront collection again and see how that does. I'm curious how many people will show up for those games. You know, I don't know. I have no clue how that's going to go. It's kind of a shot in the dark to see how it does.
I can't let this slide. The claim of, I don't know how the stream will do, and it's a shot in the dark. This is the exact argument for a 9-to-5 job. His claim of there's no such thing as stability is about as close to Nietzsche's nihilistic view as you can get. It's also completely regarded to think about work like that. Now true, you can be fired for damn near anything. But you also know that when you do show up for work, you're getting paid for just showing up, unless you're in sales or bound to a commission plan, but you all get my point. This is the difference between I live off others and must beg, and I entered into a contractual agreement for wages which I earn and am entitled to. You see the difference there, Phil? Or do you just reject all forms of nuance once your point is annihilated?
If there's only one game that's really slow, then it's not the end of the world. So for example, we were playing Like a Dragon for the ages, and that was the game that was always the slow stream. If Dragon's Dogma 2 ends up being the slow stream and people like it and want me to keep playing it, then I will. But I can't have nonstop slow streams. So we have to see what happens tomorrow. Basically, right now, Alone in the Dark's doing fine. I'm happy with its performance. And if people show up and you know, everything goes good with Elden Ring, and if some people show up for Battlefront, then it won't be a concern. Okay? But yeah, if this game always ends up performing like this, and then I'm having other slower streams too, we might have to figure out what to do, right?
Again, Phil, who is we? We need to figure out what to do. We'll have a problem to solve. Why is your business the problem of the consumer? Hell, when you do engage your community for support, you don't even listen. Look at all your suggestion box comments. How many people have said shorten the podcast, but because you don't understand what they're asking for or why, you reject it outright. So the collective we has been trying to help you, and you keep saying no. This is the indecisive significant other who says, we can go anywhere to eat. Then you respond with like 10 places, only to be told, no, not there, I don't want to eat there, ew, no. And eventually, Phil, after your viewers list off all the restaurants and you keep telling them, no, not there, I'm not going to do that, they're going to end the relationship with you. And I think you're starting to see that, or at least I hope that's what's starting to happen.
Eternal Abom, that's completely untrue. He says, notice it's always the night stream. Wrong. When I was doing Street Fighter as a night stream, it almost always did well. All right, when I was doing other games as night streams, they do well. I'm telling you, it's RPGs. It's exactly what it is. It's RPGs.
It's boredom, Phil. When you whine like a child as you get bodied in fighting games, your dents laugh at you, and so do the detractors. When you whine like a child that, I don't know, a shooter has bad hitboxes, your dents laugh at you, and so do the detractors. When you whine and cry like a child that the platformer isn't letting you grab the ledge or some shit, your dents laugh at you, and so do the detractors. When you play an RPG, you're boring. You're literally a sideshow. People watch you for your unhinged, out-of-pocket shit, and RPGs just don't have a lot of that. Well, with maybe a few exceptions, for real, for real.
RPGs are the issue. Every RPG that I've played, I was playing Final Fantasy VII as a day stream. It was dead, completely dead, 100% dead. It's not what you're saying. It's the genre of game. Remember, Final Fantasy VII, which everyone wanted, everyone was all so hyped for it, and here I am playing it, and people were literally saying, "This is boring. Don't play it." Falling asleep. It's RPG overload. It continues. The thing is, I'm only playing one RPG, and it's still overload. It would be like this. It'd be like, let's say I played Mario, Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, and Spyro, right? Within a 3-month period, and then a new platformer came out, a new Kirby came out, right? Is anyone going to care about the Kirby? You know what I'm saying?
That was a terrible example to choose, Phil, because everyone would care about Kirby. We'd all want to know if a children's game could make you rage quit after comparing it to Dark Souls. Seriously, though, that has to be one of the most humiliating clips for you, Phil. Thrashing around like a kid having a tantrum saying, it's like Dark Souls. It's just, chef's kiss.
No one's going to care about the Kirby. People are going to get tired of it, right? So I think that's really what it is. It's too much of the same. Bully did not get bad support last night. Bully did okay for a night stream. Bully actually did 4 times better than what I did tonight. And that was a retro replay. That was just me reacting to a retro game. I wasn't even playing a game. Seriously. Historically, the night streams are slower than the day streams, always. That's true. But it depends on the game as well. It really does depend on the game. The game is driving the direct interest and support for what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, like I said, even last night, Bully, which I didn't even think did that well, it did way worse than Heavy Rain, correct? Did 5 times better than what we just had right now for a new game. That's the point I'm making. I think it's the genre. The genre is shot at this point. People just don't want to see. If anything, the one game I think I could play that might work is Elden Ring, because I need to play a FromSoft game. That's different. Everyone knows that FromSoft games are different, correct? Everyone knows that they're harder. There's always difficulty involved. I haven't played this for a year now, so I'm going to be rusty, and I absolutely have to play this to prepare for the DLC.
You cannot make this shit up. First, Nice, Phil. That subtle, bully did 4 times better quote, basically highlighting the fact you made $5 with this and $20 with bully. That was a top-tier sneak guilt attack. But then, after telling us all RPGs are bad, you select, by definition, an RPG you've played before, meaning the interest in it will likely wane for anyone who wants to see newer games. I honestly don't know how the fuck this man even dresses himself in the morning. Well, actually that tracks because he doesn't. He wears Zelda jammies.
You know? So, let's see what happens tomorrow. And like I said, I will play Dragon's Dogma again on Wednesday night, and we'll see how it goes. You know, and go from there. Ooh, excuse me. Elden Ring is not, I'm telling you, Elden Ring is not an RPG. People don't even think of Elden Ring and think, oh, JRPG. They don't. They think, oh, FromSoft game, punishing difficulty, challenging gameplay, fun deaths. That's what they think. They really don't think about that at all. I'm telling you.
So, in other words, Elden Ring being challenging, causing you to die, well, that seems like it would not be boring. So, let's look at this from a different perspective. Dragon's Dogma 2, low support. Baldur's Gate 3, high support, but low viewership, and support comes from mostly one person. Like me, for real, a dragon. Low support, low attendance, the whole 9 yards. Elden Ring, normally higher support, normally higher attendance. And all 4 are classified as RPGs. Whether people think about them like that or not, they are. So either the live combat of Elden Ring is making up for the slow... Wait, no, because Dragon's Dogma has live combat. Okay, so then the hard difficulty is what... No, wait, because Baldur's Gate 3 is thought of as a hard game too. Of these 4, which one has caused DSP to rage out like a child the most? From the gameplay, not the cringe comparison of himself to the main character. Yes, that's right. It's going to be Elden Ring. So, from this perspective, the one of common sense, we can deduce that no one gives 3 shits about the game. They primarily come because Phil's an absolute tool who acts like a child and makes people with imposter syndrome think, hey, you know what? Maybe I am an okay person. It's not the game, Phil. The RPG isn't driving away viewers. The void that exists in place of your personality. That's what's driving people away. If you act like a small child or a children's entertainer, you'll likely make a fuck ton of money. But don't try the inverse of that, because no one takes you seriously. Because no one can take you seriously. Your life experience is null at best, but more than likely boils down to blame everyone else for my problems, which no self-respecting person wants to directly engage with. So stick with being a children's entertainer.
Okay. Dark Gaming says this game is exactly the same. Well, 2 things. Number 1, this game does not have the reputation of a FromSoft game at all. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's trying to reestablish itself in the genre because it's been gone for 12 years. So it's a tough sell to bring a game like this, which when it came out, technically felt like a hybrid of action, open world action, but team based and Dark Souls. It really did. Now I see that. Keep in mind, back then when I played this, I played Dark Souls in 2011. I quit it and never gone back to it. So I didn't even understand the comparison because I hadn't played enough Dark Souls to really see that. Now I can definitely see that this is Capcom attempting to combine Dark Souls with Monster Hunter. That's basically what this game is, right? But this game needs to reestablish itself, and it just hasn't. If you haven't looked, so half the reviews out there are kind of negative. It was hilarious because the journalists loved it, but when gamers started playing it, they were like, frame rate sucks, full of bugs, fast travel non-existent, too frustrating to walk on everything, right? That's basically everyone kind of disagreed with the reviewers, and a lot of people aren't really into this game. A lot of people started playing it and kind of gave up on it to do other stuff. And the thing is, there's tons of competition. There's tons of RPG competition right now. So, there you go. So, Reed says, I say drop Dragon's Dogma 2, put Elden Ring into the primetime slot. Elden Ring is in the primetime slot. It's the daytime stream tomorrow. That's what we're already doing. This was the chill night stream. I didn't play this as the day stream. This was the chill night stream, Like I said, I was pleased with how Alone in the Dark has been doing. The 2 streams I've done, it did really good. Zero complaints there. But this game started off strong when I played it on that Friday when it was a new release. It did good. And then I couldn't play it for over a week. I had to go RPG overload to finish RPGs. And now that I brought it back into the mix, now it's like, well, RPG, right?
So what you're saying is that people got tired of RPGs after you finished out those 2 RPGs. And then you came back to an RPG. And people were tired of RPGs?
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
All right. Anyway, guys, I got to get out of here. I got to film the daily wrap, and then I got to upload. So tomorrow, to clarify, Tomorrow, it's going to be Elden Ring returning for the first time in a year. And I'm going to try to get reaccumulated to the game and readjust to it and figure out what I'm doing. And we got to continue on with some of the toughest stuff in the game. We still have to do the couple underground dungeons that lead to that big alien boss fight, and then the magic dragons, and that's for my build, so we got to do all of that. And then we got to head northeast into the frozen area with the giants, take all that tough stuff out to get to the underground Moog Palace. So I don't know how far we're going to get doing this, or how long it's going to take. I feel like it's going to take a while. Dark Gaming, I swear, dude, everything that you say, I've already answered. He goes, I don't know why you're doing it 2 months before the DLC. Because I don't want to play Elden Ring for a month before the DLC to prepare for the DLC and then go right into the DLC. Because then I'll already been playing Elden Ring for a month. No one's going to want to see Elden Ring for a month and then more Elden Ring. The point is, do it now, give it a little bit of a break, come back for the DLC in June. I've already explained this. Why do people ask the same questions every fucking stream? Oh my god. Every stream. Serious is like...
First things first, reacclimated, not reaccumulated. Now that that's out of the way, Phil, you realize that not everyone turns on your stream right at the whatever the hell time you elect to start it, right? Some people show up after you've announced your why you're going to do something and don't know that you've already spoken about it. But this is Phil, who wants to engage with his stream, while screaming at his stream about how annoying and stupid his stream is, while telling his stream that anyone who hasn't donated and has come out of nowhere is a sock account on his stream. And Phil wonders why his stream doesn't want to talk to him.
No, oh my god. He thinks I'm going to forget the controls in 2 months. There's a difference between forgetting how to play a game and a specific build in the game that I hadn't used before, and then not doing it for a year and coming back to it, or stopping it for like a month and coming back to it. Like, why are you so contradictory? Why are you such a contradictory person? Right? You're so opinionated and contradictory about everything. Why can't you just relax and understand that I have reasoning for the things that I do? Personally, it sounds like you didn't want me to play Elden Ring right now, so you're upset. Right? Oh my god. And by the way, I apologize to Nikki Boo 32. I forgot to put you on the leaderboard. That's my fault. Thank you for that super chat 20 minutes ago. My fault.
Being a contrarian just to be a contrarian really is annoying, huh, Phil? Like, when people tell you that you could not do the schedule every day and you just say, no, and give some off-the-cuff reason that makes no sense because you can't take criticism no matter how nice it is. And I guess big ups to Dark Gaming, unless, of course, that's an actual dent who gives Phil money, but he asked a very valid question of why now when the DLC doesn't come out for 2 months, and I was curious about this as well. I get that he has to relearn the controls and get a feel for the game again, but it would make more sense to me to do that so when you're as sharp can be, you can hit the DLC with a bang. But hey, what do I know? I haven't been doing this for 15 years and I'm financially stable. Big Brain Phil is the smart one here, guys. So this next clip, I'm guessing, is from the actual Daily Wrap. I think that's what he said he was getting ready to record. So let's take a look at this and see how he recaps the day.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort,
Hogan. Drip.
snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
Tonight's late stream was Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, okay, gonna be honest with everyone. Number one, the game is fine for a late night chill stream. It is. It has to be a late night chill stream. If I played this game as a daytime stream, it would kill the daytime stream, meaning I know there'd be people who would complain about it, much like when I played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Who were like, oh, this game's kind of boring and grinding. This game literally is worse when it comes to the grindiness than Rebirth was. You're in an open world and you're constantly fighting repetitive enemies. Every once in a while, you wander into a bigger enemy, and you have what's considered like a boss fight with big energy bars or whatever, or health bars, I should say. Tonight I unlocked the warrior class, which is a way slow, lumbering attack class, but does big damage and has super armor. So it's very different than the fighter, where I was able to be more nimble and stab weak points, but I was getting slapped around. In this case, I don't really get slapped around, but I can't really do the same kind of style of combat I was doing with the fighter. Half the stream ended up being like quests at the capital city, where you had to go sneak into the castle and investigate, go to a masquerade ball and talk to a bunch of people and find a secret passage and stuff like that. The second half we set out and we actually did do combat.
Wait, what the fuck do you mean in the second half we did combat? Aren't your streams like 3+ hours long? You spend over 90 minutes walking, getting quests from NPCs, shopping, etc., and you expected your audience to throw money at you? That's like paying the stripper for wearing a burqa. Sure, she may be absolutely smoking under all that clothing, but we're not here to see clothing, just like your dents aren't there to see the boring shit. And even if you promise, the scantily clad strippers will be coming in 90 minutes. If you lose the audience before the main event, don't be surprised when the main event doesn't get much support. Sorry if the stripper analogy is hypermasculine or something. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just couldn't think of a way to make this work in a sandwich shop.
We did the final hunting mission where we had to take out a group of enemies and then report back to the capital. And then the second, like the last half hour of the stream, I set off to the east to find this hidden city, supposedly. It's supposed to be called like a nameless village, and there's something to do with the plot there. And it was a little frustrating because it was hard to figure out how to get to it because the road was busted. But we did do it, and I actually fought a new enemy, the Minotaur, that I hadn't even seen in the game yet. So it was kind of neat. I had fun. I'll be honest, the attendance. We basically had like 200 real viewers, and we had about 150 trolls. What I mean by that is people that came into the chat with these new accounts, and they were just being stupid and toxic and complaining and being dumb. And, you know, it is what it is. I think when I get a stream that's going to have lower attendance stuff, they're going to come in and do that now. I think this is a new thing. I don't know.
So he said that, oh, these trolls showed up in the past, and I'm genuinely curious to how he knows who's a sock account and who is a potentially new fan that he just lumps in with the detractors. I haven't been doing this for very long, so maybe someone else knows. Like, does he capture IP addresses, see the region of the account? Like, how is he doing it besides, I didn't like what I saw, so it's obviously a troll, dude? Because that's what I'm betting he's actually doing. Seeing any form of criticism or questions as detractors coming after him, which is fine, whatever. There probably are some. But this is the guy who says, if people only gave me a chance. But that comes with consequences, Phil. Many people don't know anything about you. They don't know that the detractor community calls your wife a horse or that gout is a taboo word. So if you're wanting genuine growth, you're going to have to expect people to ask things that your normal cult minions wouldn't dare ask or talk about. And unless you're willing to entertain this thought, you'll only ever have your current dents as support, because no one could possibly see your streams and not ask at least one common sense question which would piss you off. So I guess enjoy the light that your burning bridges make.
It wasn't that annoying, but here I am. This is my third stream, well, third day, I should say. My fourth stream technically, but my third day playing Dragon's Dogma 2. A game that now I'm what, like 8-9 hours into? Out of what? Probably going to be like a 60-hour playthrough? Maybe? I've heard the story is 20 to 30 hours, but if you do side content, it can be like 60 hours, right? Engagement was low. Support was almost non-existent. Okay? No exaggeration. And again, I'm not complaining. I had a decent day with Alone in the Dark, so it's not breaking anything. But, you know, I think I can't even see. I made $5 in super chats. $5. I got no new members. I take that back. I got one new member, and I made $7 in tips. That was the stream.
Is there a punchline here? I mean, your memberships are $5. I mean, you only get 70%, so that's... So you carry them. Yeah, it's $3.50. Oh my God, Phil is the Loch Ness Monster, and he needs about $3.50. No, but add that to the $7 in tips and the $3.50 from the super chat, and you made about $13.50 on the stream? Yeah, that's below minimum wage, but how can you not be happy to have this supplementary income? Oh, yeah, right, because you don't have a stable source of income, and somehow you're okay with your life as is. Seriously, fuck all the psychological analysis of his personality disorders and all that. Someone break down how the mind gets so fucked up that Phil is okay with his life as it stands.
And it's like, so why? And I asked the chat, and they say, because the game sucks. That's some of the feedback I get. Because the game sucks. Well, it's all late night streams, and that's just false. It's not all late night streams. Last night, I did the Bully Retro React, and I considered that a slower stream compared to how we were doing with Heavy Rain, and that made like 5 times more than this stream did. Okay? It's too many RPGs. You're still playing RPGs. You know, what? I just get all this different feedback. And it's like, so is it true? Do people just not like the game? I'm enjoying the game. I feel like I'm still in the early stages. Maybe long term I won't. The major complaints I've heard about the game is that the graphics aren't good enough. Well, the game got patched. I turned off ray tracing and I turned off motion blur, and the game runs at a solid 30 frames per second now. It does. It doesn't dip into single digits or fuck up. And the motion blur, without motion blur, you can actually tell what's going on a lot more often. So I liked that a lot more. I thought it was a big improvement. But the complaints I hear are the graphics aren't good. The game is too grindy because there's too much random encounter stuff in the world. We have to fight the same enemies over and over. And basically it's boring to watch because you have to run around everywhere. Okay? Those are the 3 things that I've heard as negatives about the game.
What was wrong with Final Fantasy again, Phil? And Like a Dragon? Oh, that's right. It was boring. Because they are boring. And when you pair a boring game with a comatose host, you're going to find people saying, I'm going to go watch something else. Because of course they are, Phil. People won't watch you if you're not interesting. And you have nothing to say, discuss, or theorize about, which people will find interesting because you're a goddamn house hermit.
I'm 9 hours in. So far, I'm not having a problem with that stuff. But I don't know if the audience is, right? I just don't know. It's hard to tell because some of the people who are here seem to be liking it, but those people don't particularly support the stream. I'm not complaining, but it's it seems like it's another situation where it's going to be the same as Like a Dragon, where I played the game, I like it, so I want to keep playing it as a late night chill stream, but everyone complains about it. Oh, I don't like this game and we're not going to support it and I'll quit the game. Then why did I buy it? And why did people tell me they wanted to see it? And then I bought it and, oh, the game actually now sucks. Don't play it anymore. I hate to say it. This is basically the mentality now of YouTube in general or Twitch in general. Everyone just assumes a streamer can buy every game and then just play it for like a couple streams, see if it's good. And if it's no good, drop it and buy another game. I don't want to be buying 20 games a month and dropping every game back to 2 streams.
Dude, you can't afford 2 or 3 games a month. You expect people to believe that you can't afford 2 or 3 games a month.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
And yeah, I know he said 20 games, which he's obviously exaggerating, so let's do something more realistic. Let's say 5. He has to buy 5 games a month. And if they're $70 a piece, that's $350 a month, which is what? 3 days worth of good support? This should be making you money hand over fist, you dipshit. Here, think about it like this. You make the Tier 3 tips goal, we'll say 75% of the time you play a new game. New games are $70. And if you buy 5 games and you play them in a month, we'll say you hit that goal 3 out of the 5 times. And you only hit the Tier 1 tips goal the other. So that's $150 times 3. That's $450, plus $100 for the other 2 that hit the Tier 1 tips goal for a total of $550. That's $200 of profit guaranteed. Oh, fuck, don't show Phil this. I just saved his business.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm being honest. It's not the best game I've ever played, but it's fine. It's so far. Maybe it would get more tedious. Maybe it would get boring the further in we got. I'm certainly sure that most of the complaints online aren't made up about the game, but I haven't really experienced that stuff yet. So what happens with this game that now I'm playing it and it's like an insanely bad night for both engagement and support? I don't know. I don't get it. But the same exact thing was happening when I was playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Literally, we had a daytime stream, 3+ hours. Chat was not paying attention to the game. They were talking about completely unrelated topics, sports and shit, and 0 support. I'm at the end of the stream. I'm like, so what gives? And everyone's like, yeah, the game sucks.
Phil, when playing RPGs, you have the personality of a wet fart. I don't know how to get this through your obviously very thick and oddly shaped skull, but you suck at entertaining. You aren't funny, you can't multitask, and you need your ego stroked all the time. So when a game doesn't grab the attention of the viewer, and the only thing which would be bringing in support is you, expect to have low support. It's as simple as that.
I just think at this point in my audience, there is a stigma against RPGs because there were too many in a short period of time. I mean, think about it. We played Like a Dragon Gaiden, Like a Dragon Infinite Well. There was Sea of Stars in there, which I put on hiatus for a while, right? We're not playing it right now. Then there was, well, we were playing Baldur's Gate 3 all throughout that time frame. Then there was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and now there's Dragon's Dogma 2. And I think that's what's happened. It's too much of the same, even though the games are different. I don't think Dragon's Dogma 2 is similar to any of the other RPGs that people had issue with at all. But it was funny because someone actually said, so tomorrow you're going back to play Elden Ring, which we'll talk about in a second. I am. I'm playing Elden Ring again starting tomorrow. And they're like, well, Dragon's Dogma 2 is just a poor man's Elden Ring. And so because of that, people don't care about it. And I was like, I don't think it's a poor man's Elden Ring. I think what Capcom was trying to do, they wanted to take their successful Monster Hunter formula and combine it with some of the elements of Elden Ring to make a good game. And it's what's funny is the original Dragon's Dogma was not a ginormous seller for Capcom. It did okay. Then they put out the expansion. That did okay. And then over the years, as they re-released it on various, versions, then it did a little better, which is what prompted them to make a sequel. But that's exactly what it is. It's an open world formula of, say, Monster Hunter, climbing the monsters, stabbing their weak points, combined with some of the crypticness of Elden Ring. Not Elden Ring, Dark Souls is what I should say. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think when people have a choice and they're like, oh, I can just play a FromSoft game, or I can watch the Capcom attempt at a FromSoft game that, by the way, has a poor frame rate and all these shortcomings like having to walk everywhere, I'll watch the one that's the original, the name brand versus the generic knockoff, correct? And maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm wondering what to do about it. Does this mean that essentially every time I play Dragon's Dogma 2, it's going to be just like when I was playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and everyone's going to say, well, this game sucks, we're not supporting it, stop playing RPG?
Yes. There's no bit here, just an answer to his question. Yes, Dragon's Dogma 2 will get overall low support. Next question.
I don't know. What's funny is I have people who are asking me to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again, but it did horribly. It did just as bad as Dragon's Dogma 2 is doing right now, so why would I bring that back? It doesn't even make sense. People didn't show up, engage, or support with the Final Fantasy VII streams, which is why it's on hold right now. So why the hell would I bring those back knowingly when I'm playing another game? It's the same situation. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Have to jump in here. His question of, why would I bring that back? Well, people are asking for it, but he doesn't want to bring it back because it was getting low support. Was. Key word there. How does he expect to solve the was of this problem? Like, is he expecting someone to email him saying, if you play Final Fantasy, I promise I'll tip $100? Like, how do you save a game from a wage quit, Phil?
So basically the way I see it is we're kind of between a rock and a hard place with RPGs right now. We really are. Like, it seems like no matter which one I play, they just don't do well. You know, I'm happy we finished Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. I thought, oh, this will freshen things up. So if we do play an RPG, it'll feel fresh and new. That's not happening. You know, a game like Alone in the Dark that's very different is doing good. And then a game like Dragon's Dogma 2 is doing poorly. So what's the difference there? I mean, I would love feedback. What do you think? Are you just not into Dragon's Dogma 2? What are the reasons? Right? Was it just a one-off bad night? Because, I mean, the other night when we played it, it didn't do great, but it did way better than this. You know? I don't know. And I don't know, should I continue to play it or not? All right? I am going to give it another shot. Here's my plans. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the 2nd of April, we're bringing back Elden Ring. It's a way for me to get back into it and reaccumulate myself with the game.
Reacclimate. Reacclimate, Phil. Here, I'll help you remember. Reacclimate.
Way ahead of the DLC. This way I can finish up all the content that I want to do in the main game before the DLC hits, which is basically do almost... I kind of want to do everything but the Halley Tree, because I know the Halley Tree is so difficult, and I'm afraid that I would like massively overlevel myself for the DLC. But then people are like, oh, the DLC scales, and I don't understand that because nothing in Elden Ring scaled. I don't really get what that means. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's like Sekiro. I don't know what that means. I don't remember how Sekiro was. I guess it's a different system or something. But I definitely want to get back into Elden Ring now. We can play for like a month and basically get to the point where I'm ready for the DLC. Like, I'm right there at Moog's Palace, sitting there waiting. Perfect. And then we go on hold for a month. You know, we don't continue playing it. We go back when the DLC comes out. That's perfect. The last thing I would want to do is rush to try to get there last minute before the DLC comes out. And now it's like Elden Ring for 2-3 weeks plus the DLC after. That's too much Elden Ring, right? It's too much overload. I don't want to do it all like that. I want to maybe play some now, take a break from it, and go back to it when the DLC comes out in mid-June or whatever. So that's the plan. So tomorrow, returning to Elden Ring. Yes, it's the magic build that I did last year. We're going to try to reaccumulate.
I hate this, man.
Figure out what's next. Start doing some stuff. Get back into the swing of things. I'm probably going to die a million times and suck, but that's okay. And hopefully people will get back into Elden Ring, being a part of the content here again. Okay? Tomorrow night, I'm going to be playing the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection again for the first time in ages. I played it when it released weeks ago, and it didn't work at all. It was a flub, a big problem. Apparently, they now patched it and fixed it. I want to give it a shot to see, does it work? Is it fun? Is it engaging for an audience? Would you like to watch it? Because you couldn't watch it, 3 weeks ago. It didn't work at all. But now if it works, that's great. So let's find out together, all right? So that's tomorrow. Tomorrow it's Elden Ring and the Battlefront Collection. Wednesday, which is my final consecutive streaming day this week, we're going to do more Alone in the Dark, which has been awesome. Can't wait to play more of it. And we're going to try Dragon's Dogma 2 again on the late stream and see what happens. All right? I'm feeling hopeful that hopefully the game will get an audience, that people will come and hang out and engage and support with it. But I don't know. It just seems like every major RPG, this has been the problem. Now, before you say, but wait a minute, Elden Ring's an RPG. I don't even see Elden Ring as an RPG. The whole FromSoft style of game is its own genre. It really is. Yes, it's a subdivision of RPGs, but it's not turn-based. It's hyper difficult. It brings in attention because people like to see me be challenged and smashed into paste, right? And it happens every time I play those games. Plus, it's timely to play it now to prepare for the DLC. I have to do it. I have to play it before then, so it makes sense. People will probably be interested to see me go back to it and see how I do and prepare for the DLC.
Phil, you have your answer as to why people like Elden Ring. You're just one step shy. You said people like to see me get smashed in the game or something like that. And it's true, but it's not because you get smashed. What happens after you get obliterated? How do you behave? Ah? You see? It's the fact you're a 41-year-old man baby that can't control his emotions that gets the views, Phil. The game has nothing to do with it. You're just a lolcow. And when you do lolcow shit, you're gonna get views.
So I don't think that will suffer from the same problems that we've been having with all other RPGs. But man, it seems like it doesn't matter if it's Final Fantasy, Dragon's Dogma, Like a Dragon. They're all suffering. I don't know what to do about it. So feedback, please, and I will talk about this on the podcast tomorrow. I hope you'll attend, and we'll get some topics of discussion. I really need help to figure out, do I just not play any RPGs right now besides Elden Ring? Do I drop them all and give them like a wide berth and do completely different things? Because there's other games I could be playing. There's stuff that's come out on Game Pass. There's other things that I skip. We could do other games, and I'm okay with that. But I want to know what people want. I was under the impression people wanted Dragon's Dogma 2. They told me they wanted it, and here we are. Okay? Let's see how it goes. Give me feedback. I'll see you in the morning for the podcast, and we'll talk about it in more detail. Maybe I'll get a live audience to answer the question. Okay? Thank you guys. Have a good night. See you then. Bye-bye.
Now, guys, he needs feedback, correct? Okay? Just not the kind that tells him he's doing anything wrong, all right? I imagine the preferred kind of feedback sounds something like this. Dear Phil, I just started viewing your content and can't believe how much the industry is fucking you over in particular. Everything you do is absolute perfection. On top of that, I am a Navy SEAL and am in awe of your physique. Only a Greek god has the body you do. It's obviously because of your highly skilled and disciplined regimen of playing fighting games. My entire team of SEALs wish we were you. Keep up the flawless work, and here's a tip for $20,000. Maybe one day, this feedback will make it to Filbert. But that'll wrap up this one. 3 clips from the man, the myth, the legend, and the receiver of the big ups, Snort Hogan. I really owe you, bud. Big ups to anyone who views, likes, comments, etc. I really love reading your comments, and I do read them all. So unlike Phil, if you give feedback, I try to take it to heart to improve my content. But the biggest ups, as always, go to my members. Doesn't matter if you're a gym newbie, neophyte, or a full-fledged member of the Gym Rat Tractor Squad. From the bottom of my heart, you have my thanks. Till next time, swole is the goal for a troll, lift heavy, eat clean. And dear God, please put a boss in the new Elden Ring DLC that's a giant pink blob named Kerbino the Pig Slayer.